What year is it, Candace?
1792. But I'm not Candace.
Who are you?
I'm the artist. I killed 20 before disappearing.
Where do you go?
I die, and I'm reborn.
Where?
London. Beautiful London. I start my work again in 1888. Whitechapel. I stay for a while, and I vanish. And then I'm reborn again in 1980. Baltimore. This time, I'm in a woman's body.
In this body, you mean?
Always an artist.
What if I told you that you've never been to Paris or London? That you're 23 years old, and most of that time you spent inside institutions?
I promise you that every single one of my paintings is real, down to the last drop of blood.
And what if I told you that what you're seeing is just a shield you put up to protect yourself from terrible memories? Memories of something your parents did to you.
Have you ever seen a person die, Doctor? The absolute terror. There's a moment that happens that's worth waiting for. It's that final terrible realization that life is over and no one's ever gonna come save you. I see it every time through the screaming and the blood. It's time for that to happen again in the flesh. I hope you stick around. It'll be quite something to watch.
Who are you talking about?
I'm sorry, Doctor. Could we start? Did you ask me a question?
This is Dr. Phil Parsons with notes on patient Candace Burns. Candace was found wandering the streets of Baltimore at the age of 6, naked and bloody, abandoned by her parents. That was 17 years ago. She barely spoke and was prone to blackouts. Doctors were first able to give her a voice through art, but that voice spoke only of murder and violence. Candace said her drawings were images from her past lives. Her doctors diagnosed her with multiple personality disorder resulting from disassociation during abuse. I wonder now if that diagnosis is correct. Candace is the first multiple I've ever encountered who is consciously aware of the existence of her alters, even though she has no recall of what happens when they take over. She became my patient 6 weeks ago after she killed a nurse at the Lakeside Psychiatric Center during one of her blackouts. This is the first time she's acted out the violence in her drawings, so I fear her condition is deteriorating. What horrors did this girl see and experience as a child? She was robbed of so much. She will never know life outside an institution. She will probably never know love. All because she was raised by monsters.
They were an old couple. I killed them in their sleep. I cut the screams right from their throats. You've never seen such terror. Sheets so soaked with blood. And, oh God, that sweet smell is everywhere. I light the bed on fire. And I watch as the flames lick and caress the bodies until they turn black.
Jean, look at me. You've been in restraints for 2 days. Do you know what happened? Do you remember attacking her?
She's dead.
Jean, try to calm down.
He said if I didn't keep my promise and kill myself, that he'd take somebody else.
Frank's dead, Jean.
It's just the beginning. We were supposed to go together. Together forever. That was the pact. He found out about this ritual. It would allow you to live forever. But you had to die first, and you had to say these words when you did it, right at the end.
And you believe that?
He believed it. And I loved him so much. I would have done anything for him. I didn't want to be without him. But it's different now. He's different. Make him stop touching me.
Jean, I know it seems real, but I can prove it's not. I want to show you something. It may be a little scary at first, but I'm right here with you. Do you want to? Guard. Undo one of the restraints, please. Thank you. You can leave us. Jean, put your hand over one of the bruises. It's all right, Jean.
No.
You see?
No.
You understand now.
No.
Jean.
He did this.
Frank is dead.
He did this.
There's nothing to be afraid of anymore.
No. He did this. Ah!
This is Phil Parsons with notes on patient Jean Howard. Jean and Frank came from loving families. They were high school sweethearts who said they'd be together forever. 3 months ago, for reasons that remain a mystery, they decided to kill themselves. They bought a gun together, locked themselves in Frank's bedroom. Frank shot Jean in the head, then fired a bullet into his own. He died instantly. But Jean's bullet missed all the vital parts of her brain, and she survived. Because she'd purchased the gun with Frank, Jean is now at Woodward, awaiting trial for assisted suicide. 2 young lives, so senselessly destroyed. And it just gets worse. 2 days ago, Jean had a psychotic break. She attacked a fellow inmate as she slept and stabbed her to death. No one knows why she did it. I suspect latent brain damage from the gunshot wound. What happened to this girl? What turned her into a ticking time bomb? And are these just her first 2 steps down a long ladder into madness?
It was pouring down rain. It was our favorite kind of day. He called me and said, "Have you looked outside? It's beautiful, just like you." And then we walked around all day, just being together. We were never happier. It just felt right. And then Frank told me that it was time for me to hear the ritual. And I wanted to. I wanted to because I could see in his eyes that it was time for me to hear it and that he wanted to share it with me. I loved him more than I can express to you. But now he's everywhere. He hears everything.
Why did you hurt yourself, Wanda?
I just couldn't take it anymore. Hearing his cries. You have to help me. You have to convince them so they'll let me go.
Convince them of what?
That my son is alive. You can show them the proof. See how he's grown? Talks to me every day, you know. Tells me of his life. He cries for me, Mommy. Come and find me. Come and take me home.
Why do you think you're the only one who believes Hank was kidnapped?
Because the damn doctors made up some cockamamie stories about how I tried to hurt him. Ma Hank?
I want you to consider the possibility that what you remember of the night Hank disappeared is not true.
Don't you do that. Don't you become like them. You're a liar.
Why did you try to kill yourself, Wanda?
I told you I can't.
Why are Hank's cries becoming worse? Because you hurt. Because something you don't want to remember is finally coming to the surface. Try to remember it.
I told you that. Why doesn't anybody believe me? My son is alive. He was kidnapped. He needs me. He cries for me.
Wanda, can I talk to him?
No, he won't talk to you. He only talks to me. Where are you, Hank? Where are you, baby? Don't cry now. Mommy's here. No one's going to take you away again. No.
This is Dr. Phil Parsons with notes on patient Wanda Clinton. Wanda's 7-year-old son, Hank, disappeared 5 years ago. The staff of a hospital near where they lived had become suspicious of Hank's frequent illness and injuries. They feared abuse. Local authorities had moved to place Hank in protective custody. That's when it happened. Although no body was ever recovered, police found large quantities of blood in Wanda's trailer. Wanda herself had small injuries on her hands. She claimed that a stranger had broken into her home and kidnapped her son as she tried to fight him off. The police didn't believe her story. Neither did the jury. She arrived here at Woodward 5 years ago. Ever since her arrest, Wanda has claimed to be receiving psychic messages from her son in captivity, pleading for help. She remains locked in this fantasy and tries desperately to get people to believe her. She suffers from Munchausen syndrome by proxy, a rare disorder that causes mothers to harm or even kill their children to gain sympathy and attention. The kidnapping fantasy is the culmination of her illness. But no fantasy lasts forever. Cracks begin to appear. I believe that Wanda is reaching that point. Her life has become perpetual torment, aching for the child whose life she took.
I would follow his crying and I would listen for him, you know. He tells me all about what he sees and hears, and he even tells me about his dreams. He says, I miss you. He says, where are you, Mom? Mommy?